Yeah, George, we're in Iowa County on the Indros today. So
Not too far south of Victor, right?
South of Victor. So we're in getting towards the middle part of August. Just driving down the highway here and there, we're starting to see a few brown spots in the field. What do you suppose?
Well, I guess I'm starting to notice some sudden death out there.
Okay.
It seems like there's some patches showing up a lot of different places. You know, pretty much starts like this is that you start out with some yellow spots in between the veins, and then eventually it gets necrotic or brown, and eventually then those leaflets die and start falling off.
Yeah. So you explained the leaf symptoms of sudden death, but is that the disease itself, or how does the disease progress?
It's actually a root disease. That the infection takes place when it's a seedling during a cool, wet period. That's why you'll normally see it in the wetter parts of the field or else compacted areas. The other thing that can really make it blow up is if there's a lot of a high level of cyst nematode in the field. It is a Fusarium strain that causes it. The cyst nematode just opens up roots for the disease to get in, is why high populations of cyst nematode will make it a lot worse.
We're looking at the leaf symptoms here. There is a lookalike disease, correct?
Yeah. Brown stem rot.
Brown stem rot, right? How would you describe brown stem rot versus sudden death?
Okay, the leaf symptoms are going to be very similar. You can't tell just looking at it, other than with SDS, as those leaves die, the leaflets fall off and leave the petioles, so it looks real stemmy as you look out in the field. When you've got brown stem rot, the entire leaf breaks off, the petiole and the 3 leaflets. And then you can always split the stem and look in there. It should be brown in the pith.
That isn't why they call it brown stem rot, is it?
I think that might be, Scott.
So, but it's a good call out, because it's and you and I talked about it earlier. Probably the important thing right now is to don't assume anything. If you start seeing brown spots in the field, there's other things that can look like sudden death from the edge of the field.
The other thing to not get don't get too alarmed, because sometimes the variety that shows a little bit of the leaf symptoms first could potentially be the last one to die. What we want to do here is just keep this plant alive with green leaf area long enough to fill these pods. The way it got the name of sudden death is all those toxins worked up from the roots into the leaves usually it's after a dry period, then with a soaking rain, and it just gets a flush up there. And then if the leaves die very rapidly, the plant dies suddenly. That's where the name came from. There are things that you can do to help prevent it as well. That there's been a new product out, Alivo. It's been out for 2 years now, and it's working.
It's definitely lowers the incidence of the disease. When we talk about Alivo and the protection it offers, we also kind of set expectations with it, correct? I mean,
if you have very heavy infestation, you may still see some of the foliar symptoms out there. It will enhance the tolerance in the plant, but we shouldn't take something that's very susceptible on SDS and put Alivo on it and think that's going to do the job.
Right. It's not going to. It's not. There's a limitation. You had mentioned earlier on yield loss. You really can't tell early on. You really have to let it progress. Like you said, nothing is immune to it. It's a matter of survivability and how long that plant can fill the pods.
It's how long that plant can still stay out there with green leaf area to produce the sugars to fill the pod.